hit like, and subscribe. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel.
Good morning, family. How are you? It's Saturday morning, so you are watching Ascending. You know I'm happy to be here. I am your host, April R. Silver. You are watching the Marc Lamont Hill. Well, hopefully you're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. We know a lot of y'all watch on Twitter. We're going to ask you again to support Black media, free media, independent media. Switch on over from Twitter to YouTube. But right now, we are definitely excited about the show that we're about to do, and I'm about to let you know who we are having today. We have JOHNATHAN Chaka Mahone, who's going to be joining us all the way from Texas to talk about a much needed conversation. So we're very much looking forward to that. So buckle up, get ready, tell your people we are live on this Saturday talking about DAWA, what that means, and all of the good things. But right now, we definitely want to welcome everybody back to the show. Our loyal viewers, we want to thank you so much for watching. I know Cynthia Rose from Cali is watching the day after. I know probably, who else is probably here? Rolando, I'm sure, is here. So welcome to everybody. I want to definitely thank the very excellent team over at the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. Well, just Marc Lamont Hill official, just team Marc Lamont Hill. So I want to shout out them, and I want to shout out my A team, Drake, Aaron, Kevin, and Sandy. So you see this new feature we're doing, family, this new feature where the comments are scrolling in real time. You should be able to see that. I hope that's working on your screen. So we want to get more engagement, right? We want to get more engagement. We want you to see yourself on the show, know that you are home when you are watching Ascending. And I definitely want you to tell us, from where are you ascending? We have people watching all over the world every week. This is episode 31. So we thank you for watching. But just tell us where you're watching, from where you're watching, what city, what state, what country. And either way, we just thank you for spending 31 weeks with us every Saturday morning live at 11 a.m. Eastern on Marc Lamont Hill. So gear up, tell your people to tune in. So we're going to get into the regular things that we do. The first thing is bookmark. Today's bookmark, because it's still Black August, right? We're in Black August. We're celebrating the liberation movement. I wanted to make sure that we share with you all a classic. Many of you watching, I'm sure, have read this and the autobiography of Malcolm X. But we recognize that people are coming to us with varying levels of understanding. They may be new to the movement or political education and the progressive movement. So we don't take anything for granted here at Ascending. So we want people to know, if you haven't read the autobiography of Assata Shakur, it is a must read. If the last time you read it was 30 years ago, maybe read it again. You will be doing yourself a favor for sure. So we definitely wanted to, that's a weekly thing we do here at Ascending. So that bookmark is definitely what we want you to pay attention to. And we want to remind you to support Black-owned bookstores, including Uncle Bobby's. So Black book-owned bookstores from anywhere in the country, be they brick and mortar bookstores like Uncle Bobby's in Philadelphia, owned by Marc Lamont Hill, founded in 2017, or maybe it's online, right? So we're always putting that reminder out there. So definitely take heed, family. We also next always do a Black media shout out. So the Black media shout out for today is a new show that is on WPFW. So everybody watching from in or around the Washington, D.C. area, shout out to Josh Myers, a friend, an amazing scholar. He's actually been on night school here on Marc Lamont Hill official. We've talked about him before, but today was his first the debut of his show called Regeneration. It's on WPFW, which is a Pacifica radio station in Washington, D.C. I'm very familiar with the show. I love it so much. This show It's you can listen online, or if you are in DC, you can listen on the radio, or you can listen on WPFW.org for those who are listening right now and can't see the screen. Regeneration every morning from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Yes, you heard me correctly. 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Eastern. Josh Myers, our friend, has a new show on WPFW. Jazz music, commentary, and he definitely should have our support because he's an amazing human being, an amazing scholar, and we definitely wanted to shout him out in our section called Black Media Shout Out. So next, the other thing we do, and I didn't do this last week. I think I was because I was focused on last week was the birthday weekend of the Honorable Marcus Garvey. So we were focused on that. But in memoriam this week is definitely dedicated to Dr. Danielle Spencer. If you are came of age in the 70s, or if you were a child in the 70s, certainly you likely remember what's happening. There was an ABC sitcom, and Dr. Danielle Spencer played Dee. So she passed on, may her soul rest in peace. She passed August 11th. So I'm sure that people have heard this news by now. It's fine. But I just wanted to make sure, as someone who was positively impacted by her character, was so happy to see a brown skin little girl on TV because she was just a couple of years older than I. It just did my heart good. I don't think I knew how much of a positive impact that was until I got older and started to put things in context. But it was that was one of my favorite shows growing up, What's Happening. So we definitely send our love and condolences to her family, her loved ones. She passed at the age of 60 on August 11th. So as we do here, we don't forget our elders. I mean, we don't forget our ancestors here at Ascending. So I definitely wanted to make sure that we got that in cue. So before we bring on our guests, I want to take a look at the comments. So y'all, I'm a tease my own self, right? I'm a tease myself because if y'all been watching the show from day one, I'm always like, I can't host the show and pay attention and read the comments. And so we're going to do comments at the end. And so because you all have been so dope in the comments, I realize now that I'm missing out a lot real time. So I'm going to stop being an old lady. I'm going to stop being the one that can't talk and chew gum at the same time. So we're going to be a little bit more engaged in the comments. I can't see the ones on the screen, but I definitely want to shout out. Oh, we got Nashville here. Kevin, I'm going to handle the people who are showing up. So give me a minute, Kev. But we got Nashville in the house. I want to say hi to Aisha, sorry, probably that's how you say it. Sandy's back from Virginia. Yes. Niagara Falls. We got people from Niagara Falls. Reggie Dax is always in the house. Lola says, normally would be in Chicago, but you're in Dallas. No, not Lola. Layla, sorry for the mispronunciation. And of course, Rolando's here. Good morning, Rolando. He is steady on the case. One of my favorite people to see every single Saturday. We got Jonesboro, Georgia, from Queen Script is in the house. Yes. She also says Asada is a must read. She has read it twice, Queen Script. So thank you for that. I'm about to do a reread myself. We got North Philly in the house. Lewis Pews E from North Philly. Sorry. Welcome. Oh, peace. Let me put up the right banner. So thank you. North Philly's in the house. Lewis is here. We got, let's see, Austin, Texas. Yo, we're going to be talking about Texas a lot, specifically Austin, Texas. So thank you, Jules, for touching base. So, yo, for real, let's just jump in. We are going to welcome to the stage, to the room. There he is. Chaka, how are you?
Yo, what's going on, man? I'm so excited. We just done shouted out the ancestors. We done shouted out Asada Shakur. I'm ready for all this. We are ascending. This is it. We lit.
That's
all the way up.
But you see how we bake in the stuff in the work, right?
It's all part of it. There's no escaping it.
There's no escaping it.
Past,
People like
present, and future is right now.
it's right now. It's intertwined. So I'm so grateful for your energy. I'm grateful for the connect. Shout out to Kevin Powell. Can we do that? Can we
shout out Kevin Powell all day, every day. One of the realest ones out here.
Yes, for real. Family, for those who are watching, y'all know Kevin Powell. And some of you all might know how far Kevin Powell and I go back, like 30 plus years. So Kevin Powell is how I met Chaka just weeks ago, maybe, or this summer. Let me just put it that way, this summer. Right. So grateful for the connection, because, real recognize real. So that's how we do. So we just had to have you come on, my good friend, my new good friend, to talk about what you do. Man. So it was wonderful to discover your website. It was wonderful to discover your work. It was wonderful to have the conversations that we have had with you about what you do. And it's summed up in one word. And I want you to kind of go in. I want you to talk about the meaning of the word, what it's about, the nonprofit, and give us the origin story of DAWA.
Yes. Okay. So DAWA means medicine in Swahili. The acronym is Diversity, Awareness, and Wellness in Action. And the action is the key part. We started out with a revolutionary like Assata Shakur. I got to send a shout out to Afeni Shakur. If you haven't checked out The Evolution of a Revolutionary, that book is really powerful. Jasmine Guy, shout out to her for writing that. These are the people that inspired me. These are the people that gave me direction. The revolutionaries, the radical ones, the ones that could see a future beyond the immediate short term, and we're thinking about 7 generations from now. That's who I think about. I think about my son and his great grandkids and what world we're going to leave for them. So DAWA is medicine in saying that we have to invest in the people that invest in us, the ones that care for us, the ones that are medicine in our community. Those are the ones that we have to take care of. What happened to the revolutionaries after they came back to the community after the war that they fought for our freedom? They had there was nobody there. There was no insurance for them. There was no recovery. There was nobody there for their mental health and wellness. They fought hard for us to have a new reality, but they were not invested in by our community in general, because our community was facing all types of other issues that they were fighting against. So living through that, learning from people that have been through those battles, realizing that we have to figure out a way to invest in those people. That's the teachers, the social workers, the organizers, the cultural workers, the creatives, the people working in the service industry, those that care for us, those that nurture us. They must be invested in. They deserve to be valued, and they deserve to be protected. They deserve to be honored and elevated. So we do that in Austin, Texas, through a nonprofit called DAWA, which I started basically because I played all those roles in society. I came to Austin with my wife in 2019. We're a hip hop duo. We're called Riders Against the Storm. And this work of being a creative and finding your way to have a career in music is no game. It's no easy road. And, if you don't have community to invest in you, then you pretty much don't make it. There's this myth that, America sells that somehow individuals make it by their own bootstrap. They pull themselves up by the bootstrap. How do you pull yourself up has anyone ever tried that? You can't do it. Nobody ever has done that. It's just a lie in and of itself. When you get up, what do? You push, you use your elbows. Nobody pulls themselves up by their bootstraps. That's just crazy in and of itself, right? Everyone gets invested in to make it to a high level of success. Everyone is poured into and invested in by someone or somebody's. Now, when you're a musician, you have to, it's either a record label or someone in your family or your community that invests in you and says, look, we're gonna take this risk with you. We're gonna walk this road with you, this journey. And so for me, it was always community. There's literally a time in me and my wife's journey where we were on food stamps at one point. We got cut off of food stamps. Someone literally came to our house and filled our refrigerator with groceries. There was a time our car got totaled. We didn't have a car to drive, and of course we need a car to get to gigs. We need a car to just live. Someone gave us the keys to their car and said, just take it for as long as you want. That's investment. That's people saying, we see you, you're valuable, your work is important. We want you to continue doing what you're doing. So without that, there's no DAWA. Without that, there's no me. There's no Riders Against the Storm. None of that happens, right? So having that experience of people sewing into me, investing in me. First of all, let me send a shout out to my ancestors, to my grandparents, my grandfather who moved to Pittsburgh from the coal mines of Kentucky and built his own home with his own hands, worked in the steel mill. My other grandfather, who was the first Puerto Rican named to the state Supreme Court of New York. This is my legacy. These are people that were builders, were activators, right? So shout out to them. They poured into me before I was even born. They poured into me. So shout out to all those people that allowed me, that invested in themselves so that I could be who I am. That's the story. That's the reality. People have to be invested in it. If I wasn't invested in, there's no DAWA. So I started DAWA basically because I knew that the people that were around me that hadn't made it to a level of success that I had made it to were still struggling. And so I just decided that I wanted to invest in that community directly. And I started in 2019 with a party. We threw a party on my birthday. I said, look, anybody that comes to this DAWA fund party that I'm going to throw every now and then, all this money is going to go back out to this community, the teachers, the social workers, the healthcare providers, service industry workers, and the culture workers, the creators. If you come to this party, all this money, whatever we raise, is going to go back out to that community. And that started in 2019. We know what happened in 2020. I raised $3,000 at that party. I think by the end of 2019, we're about 6,000. And my plan was to get to 10,000 and then start giving money out. But the pandemic happened. Everybody's at home trying to figure out what's going on. You know, things are slowed down. People are actually like getting back into nature. They're baking bread. They're actually slowing down and thinking about life and what they really actually want. And they came across DAWA in that process. And so between March of 2020 and June of 2020, we had over $50,000 donated. So we took that money, our first
$50,000 donated.
People were at home. Yeah, people were at home. I'm on Instagram. I'm just telling the story every now and then. We were not an organization, and just so everybody out there knows, I had no intention of starting an organization. My intention was to use my platform and my influence as a musician, as an artist, to raise money and get it out to people. That was it, right? But the energy and the situation of the pandemic sped things up. It accelerated things. I had already started a seed of an idea, and people started to pour into that little seed of an idea. So between March and June of 2020, we raised $50,000 online, just like people finding out, going to the website. You know, I'm posting to friends like, hey, give $5, give $20. We're going to invest in these people. And
right.
We gave away our first $40,000 in June of 2020. Okay, so since then we've given out $425,000 in 6 years, and we're about to give away $500,000 at the end of this year.
Hold on. I need you to say that again. I need.
Yeah. I'm happy to say it. Let's
yes.
Look, $425,000, y'all, in 6 years. We're getting ready to give away $500,000 by the end of this year. We also have a studio in East Austin, which is a historically Black neighborhood in Austin, where we have a free studio where people can come in and create content, they create podcasts, tell their own story, basically. The importance of telling your own story like I'm doing right here, so that people can know who you are. We always say that the most important role of community is to witness, right? We have to see each other. If we're really seeing each other, then we know that we're not our worst day. See, our society is like very penal society, right?
Yes.
So like we make a mistake, we just remember that mistake a lot of times. But if you really know someone, you really see them and their purpose, then when they make a mistake, you're gonna understand. You're not gonna cancel them. You're not gonna just cut them off. You're gonna say, no, I knew you when you did this. I remember when you walked so-and-so across the street, or I remember when you were in the drum line in the marching band. Like, you're not just this mistake that you made, right? So the key role of community is to witness. So again, if people did not witness me and my gifts, we would not even be talking right now. Right.
Let me ask you this, because and I think Sandy talks about this in the chat. She says, I so admire the tenacity of April and Chaka, who capitalized on their talents to carve their lane. So yes, thank you, Sandy. That's the Sandy that that's our Sandy.
What's up, Sandy? What up?
But I want to ask you this, because everything that you're saying I can relate to, right? And it's honorable. And but at the same time, I also know, even when you come to planet Earth as a giver, right, we still experience sometimes where it's just hard to do that, right? We get people who take advantage of our generosity. We get people who will take and never give. And I want you to explain or expand a conversation you had that you and I had when you gave the example of people always want to give their take on
Oh
things.
yeah.
Remember?
Well,
And
yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead.
go ahead and elaborate, please. Let me say this. Let me say this before you go, because I want us, you in particular, to plant the seed that the muscles that we need to strengthen is to overcome when we have bad things happen to us. So can you kind of go from there?
Well, yeah, the thing is that I think before we came here, there's a spirit, right? And so like we get named. So even black, even that's given to us. Like we were something before we're black. We're
Hmm.
some- we're something before any of this, right? Someone gives us a name, our parents give us a name, they call me Jonathan. Now people call me Shaka. But does that describe fully who I am? There's something beyond words that is essential to us that makes us who we are, right? And we forget over time because we have to fit into these different molds and situations. So I think we are naturally givers. We naturally want to support each other, right? But we are born into a world that is about extraction. It's about transaction, right? And so we have to learn how to live in this world as transactors and as extractors and not as givers, right? But there are some of us who innately that's just who we are. It's like the earth, right? Like the earth is not taking from anybody, right? The
Say
earth
that.
just, the
Say
earth
that.
just keeps giving, right? So there are
Yeah.
some of us that are just like that. We just built like that. We
Yeah.
earth, we earth energy, and
Yep.
that's just what we're gonna do.
Or
Some
water energy is
people
the
are
same.
flowers, some people are trees, some people are
Water.
right. What?
Yep.
But like givers. It's like what I think all the givers out there have to understand is that you can't lose. Don't lose that, because if you become what the world is trying to make you, and you're going to suffer more. What you have to do is you have to understand how to protect yourself and how to create a little bit of barrier and cushion so that you are first investing in yourself, and giving from a place that is truly unconditional, right? When you're giving from that, it doesn't matter, because the money that we give away, we're not asking people to tell us what they're doing with it. We're not saying, oh, you got to invest it in this, or you got to, if you want to go and you just want to take a vacation, or you just want to buy $300 worth we get $300 to individuals. This time it's 250 people got $300 for 75,000 in August. We're not,
Right.
if you want to buy $300 worth of cake, that's what that's what you're gonna do. You know
So
what I mean?
you
You want to have a party for yourself. Look, whatever you need for yourself, because you are a giver, pour into yourself, right?
right.
Because it's so important that your energy, that your cup is filled, so that
Mm-hmm.
you can do the work that you're supposed to do to help others find their way. Because that's what we're doing. When we're educating, we're not pouring facts into people's. Well, if you're a real educator, you're not pouring facts and knowledge into people. You're helping them find their own self knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
You're pulling them, like helping them identify who they are, right?
I
Right.
think,
Some people are
yeah.
going to be engineers, and some people are going to be, make cakes, and some people whatever. But as a teacher, as an educator, you're trying to pour into someone so that they can feel comfortable enough to find themselves and what they're here to do, right?
And to that point, um, I want to highlight that you said that it's the social workers, it's the people on the front lines. Like on the website, we'll put the website back up again later, dawaheals.org. For those who are watching, for those who are listening and not watching, the website is dawaheals.org.
Mhm.
But you say you call those people community frontliners,
Yeah.
right? And so I love the fact that your giving is unconditional. It's not policed. Giving to the givers is not policed. Anybody got to prove that what they do with the money. I do know there's an application process. Yes.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
an application process. All you have to do is be able to. So if you're a creative, you can show us a website, you can show us an Instagram page, you can show us a flyer. We're not trying to be the FBI, CIA out here. We got enough of that, right? We just want to make sure that there's not any non-people of color applying for this and trying to be slick. You dig? So we have
Yeah.
to see that you're actually who you say you are, in terms of, like, because everyone out there. This is going to Black, Indigenous people of color. This is for us, right?
Right.
You know, we you know, we're the most affected by all the environment. Anything that you're talking about, we are the most impacted by decisions that are made by the quote unquote, they call themselves the powers that be, but really by some of the most insecure people on the planet who need to use fear to try and manipulate us to believe that somehow we should be following their guidance.
Fear and force, for sure. We know that.
Right. So like if their thing is to be impatient, we got to be patient. If their thing is to be hard, we got to be flexible. Right. Like everything that they're teaching us, we have to invert it, because fear, love.
But let me ask you this. Would you agree that we have to be those things anyway, regardless of it being a reaction to someone else's state of? Would you agree?
We have to refine. We have to find it again, because, you know, it's like every generation we're losing that. You know, I mean, listen to the music from the 60s and 70s. It's a lot about love. It's a lot about, you know, togetherness, a community, and it's just like, listen to the music now, like the most popular music. It's very self-absorbed. You know, I mean, we are like, especially on the hip hop level, it's like a colonizer's wet dream. Like, we're talking about raping people and taking whatever they got. I'll do whatever I got to do to get what I need to get. Like, this is like the colonizers. Like, man, we did our job. Like,
that job, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like we've been taken as far away from our original essence as you can get, and there's probably a little bit farther to go before we realize and turn into ourselves and realize, like, you know, we've gone too far. And I think we're starting to get to that, and that's why they're heightening all these things and distractions, because they're realizing people are like waking up, like the mayor in Baltimore, you know.
Yes.
Record lows in crime. Why? Because he invested in people. It's simple. We have done nothing but penalize and create like a militarized police state for people to live in. So of course things have gotten worse. But he's like, no, we're gonna invest in people that are doing things that are benefiting people. We're gonna invest in the people that are doing the work. And guess what? Things have changed. People are waking up, and that's why this fear, like, and all this stuff is going on, because they know, like, people are getting tired of this fake concept of humanity that's been put in front of us.
Yeah. I want so much of what you're doing and what you're talking about and your passion, which I love. It speaks to and it aligns very well with you being an educator naturally, obviously, but I think you've been in the schools as well. Can you talk about a little bit about that journey? Can you give us more insight that way?
So again, like, even like, one of my passions is, since I was a child, I work with youth. Like, my mom was a preschool teacher, so like in the summers, like, I would go into her classroom and like hang out with the kids. I mean, this is like from like when I was like 10 or 11. I've always like really loved being around kids. They give me a special inspiration. You know, shout out to my son in Bele, and all the youth out there, man. Like, you know, that was one of my passions. And I thought at one point that I wanted to kind of start my own school or do something specifically in education. But what me and my wife realized in the kind of the end of the 2000s is that we have something special together that we're doing in this world that we have to explore. And so that meant like trying to create a career in arts and in music. And so I had to basically leave the classroom to pursue that, because you can't really do both at the same time. It's very difficult, especially when you're really doing the work of education. You know, it's beyond a 9 to 5, you know? And so, you know, I really enjoyed that, but I felt like there was something bigger for me to do. Not bigger, but, you know, you're in a classroom, you can only, you know, it's a smaller world than the world that I wanted, or we needed to enter into to do our work as creatives. So, you know, just had to, you know, leave that behind in a sense. But, you know, I just did a keynote with some middle school and high school students. Like, I'm constantly looking for opportunities and taking opportunities to speak with and work with young people, for sure.
Yeah, I can very much relate to what you're saying, because I was in the classroom here in Brooklyn, in New York. What was that? The mid 90s, I think it was. And to your point, that ain't no 9 to 5. You know what I mean? It's not a 9 to 5. I taught language arts and reading and drama in the heart of Bed-Stuy. And to your point, yeah, for sure. And some of those students I'm still in contact with, to this day.
Look, one of them just popped in. What up, TK?
I saw that. I saw that.
Mhm.
But and for those who are like, I used to laugh. I'm sure you would laugh at this too. People like, yeah, I want to be a teacher because I get the summers off. And I'm like, yeah, you missing the mark.
You're not gonna be in it long. You're not
Right,
gonna be in it long.
exactly.
Mm.
But I just want to salute you and thank you for even going that route and you taking education into a bigger realm. It's interesting that you said that was a little bit too small. So you're still an educator for sure. It's just in a different way. It's just in a different way.
Absolutely.
Talk to us a little bit about your career, your path, your calling as a hip hop artist, because I want to get into the ideological framework and the aesthetic of hip hop. So let's go there for a minute.
Yeah, man. Well, hip hop was a huge inspiration, a huge teacher for me growing up. It got me into jazz. It got me into all types of things, and the world that artists like Public Enemy, A Tribe Called Quest, Poor Righteous Teachers, some of these artists, KRS-One, the world that they were opening up for me was like really essential because, as just how I came into the world, like they spoke more to my heart than like something that was more, more street or more gangster. I could rock with that and I could enjoy it, but I feel like folks that were speaking more to the soul and to some of the issues that I saw around me as a young person, it just resonated with me and inspired me to think more about my role and my place in the world. And not that other, Tupac and other artists like that didn't do that for me, but those artists that I mentioned before really spoke to me in my spirit. And so, when I started making music in college and started messing around with like kind of just being an MC and learning that, I started to uncover more things about myself. There's something about performance and just like writing your own story down and performing it for people that is very liberating. And then just understanding now, the role of the MC too is like, me and my wife, our group is called Riders Against the Storm. So our name comes from a group called Sweet Honey in the Rock. And they are all Black women a cappella group that sang a lot of freedom songs. And they have a song called Ella's Song. And in that song, the lyrics are talking about passing the torch to the young who will run against the storm. So our name is Riders Against the Storm. And I want y'all to check us out. If you're on Instagram at RAS Hip Hop, Ross Hip Hop. We started making music in 2004. Our first show together was opening for Dead Prez in like 2004.
That's a flex.
we entered the contest, like our first couple songs that we wrote together, and like literally, like we didn't even have beats. We were just like ripping instrumentals off of LimeWire, and y'all remember LimeWire? Shout out LimeWire, and just rapping over those beats. And we entered the contest, we won, and that was our first show ever. So from there, we just started like really exploring things together and learning about the power of hip hop, like, because it's one thing to listen to it, but then when you start experiencing the ways that it transforms people and the ways that it uplifts people and inspires people through your own expression of it, your own pursuit of it, it really puts you in touch with really like the essence of the original, how it started, because the young people they needed something to inspire them. So they needed to self-express, and they needed a space that was safe because everything around them was burning. The adults were not there for them in the way that they needed, and they just created from that. And you really get in touch with that when you get to the essence of hip hop, the power that is, that vortex of energy. When you really get into it, like it's tangible, right? And so we started to feel that the energy and what we were doing, and people were calling for us to do more. And
right.
So from 2004 to like 2008, we started just like honing in on that and refining our vision as artists. Because at first it was just like, at that time, people got to understand, like even studio time, like that was like you didn't have access to the type of you can record an album on your phone pretty much right now, but back then, like you had to have access, and it wasn't as easy to record at that time and things of that nature. So we were just like dipping our toes and trying to figure out, how do you actually have a career in music? Like what do you need to do? And this is in Providence, Rhode Island at that time. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me ask you this: this the innate human desire to self-express, to create, to be encouraged. Those are like things that is a natural thing that humans have. And so then we find that in hip hop, right? We get to self-create, we get to express, we get to encourage. There's a cultural movement, there's an aesthetic as well. And I think that not I think, I know that is what makes hip hop culture at its purest form medicine, which goes back to now, let me ask you this: is it Dawa or Dawa? Like,
I mean, I think you're probably saying it, like well, but
okay,
we say Dawa, but
okay, okay,
I'm
okay,
sure like in East Africa or where they speak Swahili, it might be a little more accent on the wa.
okay,
But
okay,
we say Dawa, and
okay.
the beautiful thing about saying is every time you say it, you're saying medicine.
Right. Either way.
You know what I mean? And so like we just need to say that as often as we can. It's like a prayer,
Absolutely. I'm so aligned with you. But I wonder if people really understand the power of hip hop, the healing essence and the healing properties that hip hop gives us. And so talk about how that has shaped the organization, the structure, because now, like you said a moment ago, you didn't start off wanting to do a nonprofit, but yet you have a nonprofit giving away hundreds of thousands of dollars over the past 6 years, and is based on these hip hop principles.
Yeah.
How dare you?
That in itself is just self-explains itself. Like that's the power of this thing. And the folks that have the privilege and the access to resources and things like that, they know the power of it, and that's why they've turned it into a toxic mess, right? Because they don't, it's like food, right? It's like what they call food is really just a product. It's not even there's no nutrients in a lot of this stuff anymore. It's not even food. It's just like a food product, right? And so that's what they've done with hip hop too. It's like it's been stripped of all its essential nutrients and vitamins, and it's just this like thing. And even people's approach to it is not even from that original essence that we're talking about. Just like self-expression, it's just it's about an image. Like they're like trying to portray an image, and that's it. And they don't even really care. Like a lot of these artists are like, I'm not an MC, I'm not a rapper. I just do this, I just make money, you know what I mean? So it's been stripped of all that original energy for the most part on the most popular level. What people are talking about is basically just getting material at any cost. And like what we're all nobody is here for forever. Like that, you can't take none of that material with you. So like what's the long-term value of that? It's nothing. And so they want us all thinking about just the short term, what we can get right now from whoever at whatever cost. And there's a cost to that, but like for them, there's a huge profit margin for that, because that's their whole, that's the corporation's whole goal, is to just like make more and more profit. So when you strip, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. So why do you think the people in Austin, your community in Austin or in East Austin, which I heard you talk about, why do you think they get it? Why do you think your community gets it? Right? Because give your opinion on that, if you would.
I think because it's real. Like this is not something I learned in school. Like this is my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to like this is like literally how I've experienced life. And I'm saying that like if we invest in these people, then our community is better. But guess what? I'm the example of that. Like people invested in me, and look what I've done. Right. And so like my thing is like, if I had a platform of I don't know why you just came to mind, a T.I. or whatever, some of these artists, like what would be possible in the world? Like I don't have that type of platform yet, right? But when we do get there, the city's gonna change so much more, and the world is gonna change so much more. And that's just it. When you invest in people that are really here for the work, you know what I mean? And I'm not like, oh, this is fun. I'm enjoying my life.
It's clear.
I'm enjoying my life. You know what I'm saying?
It tells us that.
And that's why it's successful though, because I'm not like, it's not like a strategy. I didn't create a presentation or a business plan to do this. This is my life, and I went through a lot to exist. And so that's where the power comes from. It's like, having gone through that, it's like going in the gym. Like you got to tear your muscles up. You got to tear your whole body down to
That
build.
part.
Right.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I've been torn down. I've been broken down. I've been broken down by a lot of people out here, a lot of situations. Literally, there was a time I went to an individual out here who was the chair of a board that's supposed to be about music in this city. And I don't know if people remember when the bombings were happening in this city, but there was literally like a person sending bombs in the mail, and most of the targets were people of color. And one of them was Draylen Mason. He was a genius, prolific musician, like 16 or 17 years old. Literally in the midst of that, I go and meet with this white man, and he is a chair of a board here. And I'm like, I want to get your help to grow this festival that we were doing at the time. It was called the Ross Day Festival. Our name is Riders Against Storm Ross. And I had a plan, and I was like, this is what I want you to do. I want you to, you know, help me open these doors or whatever. He literally pushed the presentation towards me, and he said, you know what, I'm going to be honest with you, Chaka. He said, if you would be in more rooms, you would be in more tables if you didn't talk about the things that you talk about. That's literally what he said to me, right? And so that world couldn't see me. That's not my community, because again, we talk about the purpose of community. The greatest purpose is to witness. That world could not see me, and that it didn't break me down in the sense that I didn't know that that's the world I was entering into whenever I was having these conversations, because I could feel it, right? But what it did is it confirmed that I was not crazy. The feelings that I was having and the resistance that I was feeling was real, right? And so that just that moment alone was like, it was like my power up. I was just like, all right, boom, I got to make this happen. I got to make this happen. Like you have nothing on me at all except resources. I'll get the resources because people have believed in me from day one here. And if it wasn't for people, I wouldn't be here. So you don't get to dictate what happens to me. Your little rooms, your little stuff, like whatever. Just thank you for confirming that to me, because that, you know, it's like okay, yeah, I get it. You know, this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And so that was like, for me, that was it. Because up until that point, you're kind of like, you might think, oh, maybe it's me, maybe I'm not, you know, but because your community is supporting you, but there's certain areas they're not showing up for you, or they're not, and so, you know, you're like, well, maybe if I change this up, or if I do this, or if I get this sponsor or partner, it's like, no, like they just don't like you, because you're talking about your truth. You're authentically coming in here, being a Black person, being a hip hop artist, because hip hop doesn't care about what you think. Hip hop is about, this is me. I'm dope. I'm gonna let you know. Wrong. I'm coming at you. Just give me the mic. Boom. That's what it is.
From the standpoint, like having an opinion, like whatever your opinion is of me is not gonna impact how I move in the world.
How I move, because look at what hip hop did. Like, they were saying it's gonna end. They were saying, you know, even the blues, that's devil's music. They always got something to say about us, right? But regardless, we manifest, because even in the darkest of times, even in a burned out Bronx, we were talking about elevating. We were talking about being the best in the world, and like that's our power, right? And so again, like for me, I was just like, I bet, you know, and that was like my final like little power up, where it was like, okay.
No,
if I talk less about what my experience is, then I'll do better. Oh, okay, watch this.
Right, hold my beer.
Hold my coat. You know what I'm saying? But again, this is not a short-term thing. That's what 2016. You dig? So what you have to understand is you have to have a long-term vision for yourself, for your community. And that's why we're suffering, is because we have no long-term vision. Our vision is about what we can get in the moment, and we're thinking about ourselves as individuals, not as a collective. And that's why so much of the suffering is happening.
But this is to your point, and this is why we salute you for real, like on the screen, for those who are listening and not watching. I want you to do two things, Chaka. I want you to elaborate just a little on those 4 areas, right? The screen says, what does DAWA do? There's the DAWA Fund, there's Vision 8291, there's the Black Live Music Fund, and then there's DAWA Studios. So I want you to do that just a little bit, 1 sentence on each. Well, a little bit more. But then I want us to go into the big concert that's happening on September 12th. Okay, so let's do that. How about that?
That's a bet. Okay. Our fund basically is direct financial assistance to who we call the givers of the community frontliners. That's teachers, social workers, healthcare providers, service industry workers, and cultural workers, creatives, also organizers, BIPOC, again, Black, Indigenous, people of color. So we have a fund that we open up. We do it in rounds. We just gave away $75,000. We're going to give away another $75,000 at the end of the year. So that'll be over $500,000 in 6 years. Vision 8291 is about partnering with South by Southwest. So people may not have heard of South by Southwest, but it's a huge global festival. People, hundreds of thousands of people come here. Millions and millions of dollars come into the city every year. But basically, it goes around most of the grassroots things that are happening here. Like not the South by Southwest. I would say it's like a hurricane comes, like a storm, like a tropical storm comes, and then when it leaves, the next day the ground is dry. Like, how does that happen? Like, how does all this moisture and everything, and the ground doesn't get any sustenance from it? So the people on the ground need to benefit from that moment, that cultural moment in Austin. And so we create space for that. And we raised $25,000 for 6 BIPOC-led grassroots organizations over the last 2 years through that. Vision 8291 is about reversing the trauma of the 1928 master plan, which basically segregated the city in 1928. Created a Black area of the city. When Black folks were all around, it forced them into the area which is now East Austin, where our headquarters is at right now. So Vision 8291 is about reversing that 1928 master plan. So it's a vision for us moving forward, which involves investing in grassroots organizations. The Black Live Music Fund is about, they call Austin a live music capital of the world. Well, whose music is that? I mean, blues. I mean, there's no Stevie Ray Vaughan, there's no Willie Nelson, none of these cats without Black people, without Black music. And you ask any of them, they'll tell you that, or they're a whole lie. Okay, but guess what? We have no Black-owned venues, music venues. We don't have a high level of investing in Black musicians, and so the Black Live Music Fund is about creating space for Black musicians to thrive in a city that calls itself the live music capital. DAWA Studios is every Tuesday and Wednesday. People can come into the headquarters where I'm at right now, and they can come in for an hour. They can book a free hour to record podcasts, to do content, whatever they want creatively. We have a whole studio, 1,000+ square feet, and that's
all for free.
This is all free.
Amazing, yeah. Amazing. Oh, there's a picture. That's where you are.
Outside. That's the outside. Yeah.
Outside. That's where you are. I love it. I love it. I love it. So tell us about what's coming up for those who are in Texas or will be in Austin, Texas on September 12th. What's going on with that?
Even if you're not in Texas, pull up on us. The energy is going to be on 3,500. We are celebrating 6 years of DAWA, 6 years of medicine in Austin with the one and only Killer Mike.
Yeah.
It's called the For DAWA Fest. So we're talking about for medicine. We have a special local partnership project called For DAWA. And so we have Drinks for DAWA, Dine for DAWA, Dance for DAWA, Dharma for DAWA, and we have Dreams for DAWA. And those are all partnerships with local businesses. So Drinks for DAWA, for example, we have a beer that's sold at a brewery here, where 50 cents from every can of that beer goes back to support the work that DAWA is doing. We have a coffee here where $2 from every bag of this coffee goes back to DAWA. So that's For DAWA. So at the For DAWA Fest, we're celebrating all the local businesses that are for DAWA, the members that have become members that are for DAWA, the people that came for that event, you're for DAWA. And we're just celebrating 6 years of this medicine in Austin. And, this is our annual opportunity to do that, to let people know that, you can go get a beer and be about this investment. You can go, You can go get a coffee and be about this investment. We got a special biscuit that's launching next Saturday, a pickles and cheese biscuit. Shout out to Lenny's. We got a special wing that's coming out of a local barbecue spot. Nice. Listen, man, we're not depending on grants to exist. We're not depending on people that can pick and choose when they want to support us and not for us to exist. We have to do it ourselves, right? We seen that with Katrina. We seen that with everything. Like when we turn to them, we the last on the totem pole, right?
Right.
So we gotta turn to ourselves, and only then when we see the liberation that we actually really deeply seek,
Then that we know will come. Kev, let's put up that graphic that we had. There we go. And this is where people can get tickets. This is the concert for those who are listening and not watching. This is the graphic for the concert for DAWA Fest, Austin, Texas. Anywhere near there, you should be making your way to Texas, on the
Or
12th.
not, or not. Austin is a great city. Come,
Regardless, right?
come and get a vacation. You can get a biscuit while you're here. You can get some coffee. You can go home with a whole package of goods and have a great time here. It's Killer Mike. Hey, if you're in Atlanta, you want to see him in Austin, come on through. You know?
Come through, right?
Yeah.
But the reason why I wanted you to come on, I mean, I didn't know any of this about Austin, Texas, right? Until the conversation with
I
you.
wonder why. Because they
But
don't
that-
want you to know.
But we here at Ascending, we
That's
here
right.
in the Marc Lamont Hill official, the community at Aquila Work Songs, people, if they follow you, we're gonna put your social up in a minute. But in a minute, they're gonna see you in different Black media outlets. I
Right.
know some things are coming up, like
That's right.
Ebony.com and Tavis Smiley. Like, there's a national thread here. There's a national story. Yes, the concert is important, the work that you're doing, but talk to us as we close out, right? Talk to us about.
I don't want it to end. Let's keep going.
I know. but the ways that this can be duplicated, like, and what is your vision? What is your guidance? What is your instruction? What is your call to arms for those who can do their own version of this that's reflective authentically in their own communities? Can we talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, we just got to be careful with like duplication and things of that nature. I think it starts with the self.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not doing it already, then don't try it. Okay.
I need you to say that again, fam. That's real.
Don't try it because you think it's cute, because it's not cute. It's not a game. It's hard. Like I'm smiling, I'm having fun, but this is hard. This takes a lot of strategy. I'm in here every day with my team and my board and like anybody, and like doing this from the heart. So if you're not already doing something like this, please don't try to like, copy and paste a website or whatever people do out here and act like it's going to be, because this is medicine. Medicine is not what they make in pill form, right? Medicine is organic, it's natural. It comes like every ailment that we have, we got a solution for it from the earth, don't we? Right? So you can't fake that. So I would just say, I'm not really at this point right now interested in duplicating it or trying to, what do they call that? Scale it or expand it to this. Right now, I want to figure out our model here and really make that sustainable. And that's my focus. And then perhaps like when we get to that point, we can think about, other cities or anything of that nature. But, people can reach out, and we can talk and like what's going on in your city. But again, if you're not already doing it, find someone that is doing it and support them.
Yes.
I see a lot of people. How many, this is a side note, because I can go, how many backpack drives are we going to do? Right? How many back to school backpack drives are we going to do in our community, man? Like, work together, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got 45 backpack giveaway. There's not even enough kids. There's not even enough backs for all these backpacks. You know what I mean?
That's real. That's
it's just like everybody wants. It's about the ego. It's not about the heart. Like, it's got to come from the heart. If you don't know what it means to come from the heart, then you got to like slow down. You got to start to figure out like, what decisions am I making that actually coming from my heart versus, some type of strategy and trying to look a certain way or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I got to say to anybody out there listening, because people playing games out here. And people, kids do need backpacks, right? But are you doing it because you want to like put it on Instagram and you want to say you're doing something? Because there's other things to do besides just backpacks. Can you look into that? Can you look into organizations that are doing things all year round, and can you go and can you show up and support them?
Right.
So that's what we got to kind of like start to think about, like, what does our community really need? What is the need out here? And as somebody that wants, if you're a giver and you have a will to support and want to do something, then look and see what's happening, be a part of that. If you feel like something's missing, and even when you feel like it's missing, go to these organizations and say, hey, like, I'm thinking about doing this. Because that's what if I didn't feel like this is needed, I went and talked to all types of people before, I started DAWA. I wanted to get their feedback. Do you think I'm crazy? And I had that conversation. So trust me, I'm not just saying that, like, this is important, essential work if you're thinking about doing this, because you should not be doing it with the expectation of reward.
Yes.
Not be doing this with the expectation of getting an award or getting applause or getting any of that. Because again, giver is unconditional. If you're doing
Mm-hmm.
it with condition, and this is the hard part, is a lot of times the people that say thank you are not the ones you're giving to. They take you for granted.
Wow. That's real.
They've been taught to not even see you as valuable. They don't even
Right.
see themselves as valuable. So
That's a solid point.
definitely don't see you as
Yeah.
valuable, because they're gonna take whatever you offer. They're not gonna, a lot of times, gonna say thank you. Don't take
Right.
that personally.
Right.
Understand the context which you're working in.
Yeah.
That the
And
thanks and the acknowledgement and even the support sometimes is not going to go to the people that you are directly giving to.
And we talk about that a lot here on Ascending, that inner work, right? We talk about the importance of the inner work and not just self-care. Like, I'm a little bit getting annoyed with the term
Oh, no.
self-care, a little bit, but you know, that
Collective care,
sounds,
community care.
yeah, that part, right? So the what the community needs is you at your best. And that is not necessarily you duplicating something that you saw when you were doom scrolling on social media. We need you at your best and you to know who you are. Welcome, Bullet the Bunny. I saw that you were in here. Bullet the Bunny, who's a regular supporter of this channel, of this show. We thank her. She has a question. How does Jonathan feel about the Kill Tony crew and their effect on Austin culture? You want to address that?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like, it doesn't affect too much around me.
Mm-hmm.
I think their audience is majority white people that don't know anything about me or like the things that I talk about for the most part. I have friends that play in that band. I got friends that one of my friends, Chris, he paints. He does live painting there every time. But you know, that's all I can say about it. You know, it's like it's not something that I feel like it doesn't influence or impress anything around me. Except that, you know, it does create opportunities for those people that I know and have worked with and respect. But you know, I've been to the shows. We actually performed at their New Year's party. You know, and it's definitely an audience that I don't really see outside of that environment. It's not that I, you know, it's just not that Austin is not the Austin that knows me or that I know.
Real talk. Okay. All right. We thank you for that. I'm gonna give you the last word in like 30 seconds. Well, a last word of 30 seconds. And I didn't share this with you because I forgot. And you kind of touched on some things, but if the audience, y'all know we have this thing where we ask the guests what is their ascending moment, their breakthrough moment. So you addressed that. You gave an example that could be the answer to that question when the guy was like, yeah, you could go further if you
I
don't.
got another one.
I know you do. So give us that before we like I always say here, my grandmother May, she doesn't do goodbyes. She always says so long. So before we say so long, because we don't do goodbyes here, to your point earlier, what is your additional ascending moment?
So many, because that's what it takes. You have so many moments throughout your journey, right? I could say that there's one time, I'm not going to go through all the details, but it's a very special woman that I met in a very special way. I went to go and seek out some guidance from her. And the first thing that she said to me, like, she just read me. I came into her space and I was just like, I was down and I was looking for just some guidance. And she said, smoking a Newport cigarette, blew the smoke out and said, "You trying to save the world? You need to save yourself." Oh God!
Wow!
Big moment. You know,
wow.
because at that time I was trying to save everybody, save the world. I was young. I had a lot of energy, and you know, I was teaching. I had an after school arts program. I was trying to save the world. And when she said that, like, it started me on a journey of just like really like, what does that even mean? Because a lot of the giving at that point was because there was things I was trying to feel inside of myself.
Okay.
Right. And so now it comes from a different place, you know, but then it was like, it was pieces that were missing from me that I was trying to fill in other people that I needed to focus on filling in myself. And so that was a huge moment of ascension for me. I mean, it wasn't like immediate, but it just like shattered everything. It's like the
Yeah.
the Matrix. You see all the numbers.
Yes. Yes.
It was definitely a moment for me.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you so much. Let's put the website up again, Kev. So, because people can get to your social media through the website. We don't have the separate banners for the website, but let's do the learn more banner on the screen. I could go on. You just gotta come back. Like,
yeah, let's do it.
We're gonna make announcements, but you are being honored. With every fiber in my being, I'm saluting you. I'm praising you. Your mission, the decision that you made to give a damn, or the decisions that you make to give a damn about us, are appreciated, and we value you and we thank you.
I want to say one more thing real quick. We have a mantra that we say at a lot of our events. We say, "We see you. Your heart is a blessing. We value you. Your work is essential. We thank you. Your light gives us courage." So we thank you. We thank everyone out there, all the givers out there. Shout out to you. Pour into yourself so you can pour into others. Don't have the expectation of getting it immediately. Do it because you want to do it. And we'll see you when we see you.
We appreciate you. That all of that love, Nana Camille says, may it boomerang to you. Nana Camille Yarborough is another elder, right, that we always lift up here. So thank you, Chaka. Thank you so much to your whole family, your wife, your son, the board members, the staff, the volunteers. Y'all doing the damn thing. We appreciate it. Yes. All right, fam. Talk soon. All right. Woo, that was a good one, y'all. That was a good one. I think we did some live comments as well. Y'all, I'm looking on the screen. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming through. Baby K is here. Thank you so much. Your heart is a blessing. We're going to do some closeouts as we normally do. We did the comments in real time. I'm going to stop being the old lady waiting to the end to get to the comments. So thank you. What do we have at the end? Oh, we want to remind people I'm available for speaking engagements, virtual and in person. Kevin is going to put up those banners. Definitely want to let you know. We're going to do better at getting the, what am I trying to say? The clips on social media. So let's put up where people can find clips from 31 episodes, y'all. Thank you so much. Follow me on Instagram, on social. Everything is April R. Silver. Definitely you can watch the show now, later, always. So I think next week we got to change, right? We got to change. We were supposed to have Dr. Makola Abdullah, president of Virginia State University. We have to do a change. He will be with us, but just not next Saturday, as we have previously announced. So we'll let you know. Go to akilaworksongs.com, sign up to the email list, follow me on social media. We'll announce by Tuesday who the guests will be. All right. So family, thank you so much, everybody, the loyal watchers, the new people. Yes, Marc is not here. This is his channel. He's blessed me with this opportunity. But we will see you next Saturday. We will see you August 30th and every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern, live here on Marc Lamont Hill Official. I am your grateful host, April R. Silva of Ascending. So stay up.